Yay. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. This is today's morning meditation. Let me get us all in here and dialed up. One moment. Here we go. All right. Hello. Happy Tuesday. That feels like Monday. Talk about wacky and wonky energy lately. Things are just like boom, boom, boom. And kind of one foot in multiple spaces, multiple dimensions, and one foot in the other. And so we are in the transition of doors, even from the summertime through the fall, starting to close. The real portal shift was October 25th. There was some energetics that just came online, but also closed out a lot of aspects in the field. And also remember, we came out of a 2.5 week, 3 week window with solar flares that were coming in the midst of the eclipse. So that takes time for all of that energy to start to get absorbed and into the Earth's plasma sphere and the magnetic grid lines and everything else, and ultimately impact the Schumann resonance. So that's where it starts to, it's like having a lot of loud noise around us and then feeling the energy shifting, like the base shifting, right? So that's the effect on our energy bodies and systems. So I'm just going to blame all of this wacky wonkiness on that. Never mind the crazy astrological aspects and everything else that we're dealing with. So I think it's important today that we drop in and we do this just good flush, good clearing, good recalibration, because what's really, again, if we're kind of bouncing in two different dimensions, there's a need to like just close doors, but also allow our energy body to release, to shirk off, if you will, what's there. And then on the other side of it, the opportunity to access and envision and embody new waves, new levels of the Metatronic field. So we're actually, while I'm talking about the cleansing and clearing, we're going to go pretty high in the frequency today and hopefully set some grounding roots and chords in that new frequency. So with that being said, go ahead and take a gentle breath in, and with it, slowly close your eyes. It's like as you're breathing in, it shuts the eyes. And let yourself rise up out of the sitting bones, lengthening the spine. If you're laying down, figure out how to wiggle the hips and get that spine really elongated as you breathe in and as the eyes gently flutter closed. Beautiful. And a nice big exhale out. And another nice deep breath. Again, rising up in the spine. I don't care so much about it being deep in the belly as I do about you identifying that elongation through the spine, really raising the body up, feeling the neck stretching way up and out of the shoulder blades. And a big gentle sigh as you drop back down. And then one more nice deep breath in. And this time, as you rise up out of the spine, shift your focus, go straight for the light link, go straight for the sun. So breathing in and just sending as you raise up, as though your head is going to touch the sun, right? Rising up until you feel that orb at the top of your mind melting, its heat melting into your skin, and feeling the deep relaxation like hot water on a cold day in the shower, pounding into your skull and your shoulders and your muscles as you exhale out, and feeling the body settling. I said last one, but we're going to do one more this time, feeling yourself rising up as though there's a light just above your head and you're reaching into that light. But where I really want you to focus now is on elongating the tail. Go ahead and feel that tailbone. So the more we stretch through the neck, go ahead and open those hips, maybe even undulate a little bit from side to side or back and forth, rolling around while the spine is elongated on that tailbone, and envisioning it loosening, popping open, almost as though when a jar is stuck and you can't get the lid off, just stay here for a moment. If you need to do an extra breath in between, go ahead and do it. Really let yourself, as you rotate and undulate back and forth, feel that spine loosening in the tailbone, I should say. Nice deep breath in again. Beautiful. All right. Go ahead and roll the shoulders, settle in. Feel that light link already turned on and activated, that sun just illuminating your inner mind. And if it's something external, go ahead and draw it into the mind. And then shifting focus to the feet, to the earth, and to the tail. So I want to have you, if you're here, you're most likely familiar with the tail. Go ahead and envision it just opening up, like unfolding, right? Let that part of your energy body begin to unfold, imagining as though that tailbone itself, the muscles around the tailbone are just letting go, relaxing through the pelvic floor. Just feeling the whole lower back loosen up, shifting around as you need to get comfortable. And I want to have you come back to the imagery of the sun again and feeling it. We're going to take our time, imagining it now, that liquid light melting into the mind and feeling that like a sponge, giving it a good squeeze out and imagining all of that dirty water, that congestive energy, and then feeling it flush through the sinuses, right? The sinuses are filters for the central and governing meridians, which come through the perineum, right? So those two meridians run up from inside of the pelvic floor, all the way up the back, through the roof of the mouth, filtered by the sinuses, and then down the front. So whenever we're dealing with congestion, that is the mechanism. It's actually a root chakra flushing and clearing. We want to focus on the root chakra to actually clear sinuses. It is not a throat chakra issue. The throat chakra is just what's filtering out the junk for us. So again, nice deep breath in, nice big exhale out. You got it. All right. Feeling that mind absorbing all of the light like a sponge. And now imagining it running through, and let's have it run through the back of the neck. So the neck is a hose. Again, we're sending the energy down the opposite direction of how it naturally flows through those two meridians. So just envisioning it flushing out a pipe, right? If pipes run water through a certain direction, we may come through the backside and try and loosen the gunk, if you will, if it's broken or clogged. And here's where we're really in here to land today. We're just setting this up so that it's as though the spine is running that hose of light coming down through the mind. For those of you that have had any stuff happening in the throat, you can also imagine a slow drip as that liquid light comes in and hits the throat like honey. Go ahead and take a moment to imagine that honey dripping onto the tongue. And as it comes through the front side, it moves down the throat chakra. The throat chakra is like straws or pipes all stacked together. So just envisioning like pickup sticks, pulling it all together. I promise we're making our way to the spot we get to be today. We're just doing some basic mechanics, basic lifting with the energy field today. Nice deep breath and a huge sigh as we move to the shoulds in our shoulders and the back. So we're going to take a moment here because I really want you to allow what's here to present itself, to organize itself. We don't want to leave any lingering traces behind. So, as kids, when we carry a backpack and we load it up because we have so many books to carry home from school, Well, with our lives, we do the same thing. And there have been so many shoulds that we carry. And oftentimes they're just subtle. So I want you, and you may even need to think about this in the context of multiple backpacks, because it could be for your kids or each child, you have a certain backpack. It could be for family, you have another, or you could have everything piled into one. But take your time. I want you to feel into these potentially multiple backpacks and envision how full they feel, how weighted down they feel. Does it feel like you've got a brick? Does it feel like you've got maybe some good things in there, right? But if they're heavy to carry, and if they're on our back in a backpack, maybe they need to be integrated into our system, right? So just take your time, feel into that backpack. And our goal is to shirk it off. If you remember walking, I always had to walk home from school and I would get home and I would just roll my shoulders and drop that thing to the ground. Huge thunk. So I want you to take all of the guilt, all of the shame, this is beyond just these backpacks with what we're working with right now, supersedes our usual to-do lists and goals. These are some deep, energetic, really armor, right? This is almost, you could go beneath the layer of the backpack and get into some armor that you have been carrying around, like big, big breastplate and backplate to protect you. I want you to feel into that armor. And as you're ready, just feel it either melting away. Maybe you envision it like a pair of shoulder pads, taking it off. Just trusting and knowing that it is here, it is ready to be released. And what's really beneath this layer of armor and these backpacks are not just the shoulds, but defense mechanisms that we have put into place. Why? Because we've had to carry our masculine energy in a certain way. We've had to be protective of our field in a certain way. We've had to cut our magic, hold it, restrict it, put a governor on it, right? Like hold it at a certain frequency. And so this may be a little bit challenging, right? You may not feel ready to step into, you may be, again, I was speaking to that dual dimensionality. On one side or in one moment of the day, you're like, LFG, let's go for it, right? And on the other side, it's just, it's not time yet. I'm not ready to throw down. It's not ripe. And we trust our intuition. That piece that's holding us back as well is so critical, because I know if you're here with me, you've learned that action and forward motion in the world sometimes is just, we can overdo it. And so we've learned also to not trust the ways in which we take action. So what I want you to do is, in order to release these backpacks and this, especially this heavy weighted armor, is to actually allow yourself feeling as though you are leaning into something else, like a tree, right? Tree that is deeply rooted. Masculine energy can be very feminine in its nature also, in that it can be a simple no, right? It can be taking a stand for something. And in doing that, the stand doesn't necessarily need to be spoken verbally, even. It can just be, I refuse to engage in that way ever again. I refuse to show up in that way. And by simply shifting, right, there's a way we're holding our energy, which in turn is a masculine expression because it's a hold, right? And it can be against all of our other intuitive instincts. So I want you to feel this, and I want you to feel into that as though you're leaning into that tree for support, or however you need to have it. Maybe right now you need your angels to come in and to help you lift this incredible armor, because you're not only lifting it for yourself, but for generations past and generations to come. We're taking our time here because this is the thing today. And you know what's going to come with it is not only a new way to hold your energy and deepen, because what is the message we're sending from the masculine side to our feminine side? It's that I trust these forces inside of me that I cannot see. And I know at such a bone deep level that what I maybe used to go out and fight for is going to simply rectify itself, because, or it's going to come into fruition, whatever the issue may be, because you see the path and you trust the feminine and the forces and the field that you have curated to call this in such a powerful way. So feel that masculine energy engaging no longer externally as a plate of armor that will restrict how the feminine can flow. It's like I was driving across the state the other day, and there were all these orange trees, juvenile orange trees with bags over them. And I'm pretty sure the bags were there from the hurricanes, right? To protect the plant, to provide a layer of protection. I'm going to assume the hurricane, because otherwise you would see something like that for a frost, right? And so it's as though this plate of armor has served like that bag, but the tree can't, those orange trees can't blossom and flourish with those bags, right? They'll never grow beyond the 3 or 4 feet that they were. And so for lifetimes, and especially in this lifetime, we've learned, because it's vulnerable, to let ourselves grow into these incredible star beings that we are. So again, feeling yourself releasing that armor, pulling the bag off, the hood off, if you will, because what's on the other side is this opportunity for us to see the world, to see freedom, to see alternative paths, to manifest alternative paths by simply holding the field and trusting that it will rectify. Whatever is wobbling will rectify, and whatever is needing to be closed will be closed. And with that, go ahead now and gaze at that version of yourself. It's almost as though, as we stand here, an old form of your energy body emerges behind you. And I want you to feel into that tail again. Feel into your tail. And just imagining it flushing out that old version of your energy body, its archetypal and belief encoding. And imagine it flushing down the drain of your tail and all of the other layers of lifetimes and genetic expressions that have manifested into form as you've carried along the soul line. Also flushing out that deep, deep, deep sacred spiral in the earth. Imagining your tail plugging into the earth and just swirling counterclockwise down and in, all the way in, following it like as though we're riding a slide or just following a corkscrew all the way into the earth. And it may look dark, even though if you've been with me, we've done this multiple times. It's okay if it looks dark. We are activating and drilling in for a different level of our energy field right now. We're letting it recode itself. And as you do, all of the tension in your back that you carry, flushing out. Again, starting from the tailbone and the pelvic floor, as though we've placed internally, well, really, we're releasing that internal backpack, that brick wall that was helping us hold up all of this weight of all of these shoulds and this armor, because our natural light body isn't meant to hold that. That is exhausting. That is what wears us down over time. So you may see some brick walls crumbling. Because part of us is, I don't know why Humpty Dumpty keeps coming up, but it's like that wall that Humpty Dumpty perched himself upon is also crumbling. Right? There's no longer a cliff to fall off of or a wall to fall off of. I mean, Humpty Dumpty was an egg. Imagine that, the cosmic egg perched up, being held up on this concrete wall inside of you, not able to land and anchor into its source. I know there's a couple of dual metaphors there. Just think about that. We've had to hold ourselves in a certain way to just simply keep our heads above water, to keep that cosmic egg that holds all of our core codes inside of us connected to the light. Go ahead and allow it to plunge, but this time, instead of hitting the ground and splat, it lands in the field of the crystal quartz at the center of the earth. And that tail, it's like that egg just swirls all the way down into that crystal quartz, illuminating, flushing out. And as it lands at the center, again, some bizarre imagery, but this is real energy body stuff. There's that crystal quartz, and you may see that egg just perching, landing, almost like in a nest of the crystal quartz. All of these like fiber optic nest-like energy. It's illuminated at the center of the earth. And I want you to drop into the center of the egg and feel that energy of the sun and that energy of the stars, because what is new where this other dimension is has all the energy we need. It's a lightning blue, a cosmic blue that is coming through, and it feels frenetic. But now, like I said, it's been absorbed into the center of the earth. So let your energy, the core of your energy field, that cosmic egg, drink it up and be nourished by it. And as it does, you may begin, if you imagine being at the center, to see new codes, new hieroglyphs, new ancient symbols, ancient modern symbols forming, the shell breaking down and eventually cracking open, and new life emerging. And this is where you're going to feel your tailbone really activating, because it's almost like a vine emerges, starts to climb up and through the roots, climbing up and through that new spiral that we formed and was forged, all the way through. Think about what roots look like. They're pure white most of the time. Sometimes they get a hard encasing, like a little bit of a bark around them. Imagine that climbing up. And for all of you, both the men and the women, the ladies and the gentlemen, as you feel this coming in through the tailbone, for the ladies, it's going to be into the womb space. You're going to feel this activation, not quite through the root chakra. You're going to feel that's like the energy that is going to nourish, but you're also going to feel this coming through the back of the spine, kind of just between the kidneys, this energy that is the Hara chakra, and it is going to push open at a new level. And so for the ladies, it's going to be in the womb space. For the gentlemen, it's going to be just behind the belly button, because that's where we're all pulling in our creation codes. You're just going to feel this blast of light and energy coming up and merging not only the nourishment through those roots in that tree emerging, but then also this force of cosmic light converging as this egg cracks open and this new energy rises up in you, a flame, your pure flame, sparking to life. And in its place, this is kind of fun. I'm definitely getting some masculine. I think this is for the ladies and the gentlemen, like this warrior strength, like trunks and branches and limbs just bursting through and up the spine. Incredible strength. So much so that, like, the need for armament that we were carrying becomes irrelevant. And then I want to have you really, this is important because we're coming back to the shoulders and the base of the neck. Feel it surging through the spine, especially at the neck. The neck is where we carry our past life. It's where that past life trauma stuff gets stored. It gets stored other places too, but it's very acute there. And so all of our past wounding, beheadings, burning at the stake, stabbed in war, in battle, our soul carries all of this. And a lot of it's right in the neck there. So I really want you to feel this energy surging through the neck and blasting huge little tendrils. It looks like a tree, but it's very luminescent, rainbowy light blasting through the fields into the mind. And the mind, as though that nest, this is so beautiful, that nest of like fiber optic cables and light that was holding the crystal, the cosmic egg at the center of the earth, at the center of the crystal quartz. Now the brain has become that nest. And there in the center is your pure gem being held perfectly in the nest of your mind. You can imagine it sparking to life, burning, if you want to put some fire energy in it. It's truly the codes to envision the world from this new dimensional space, because our warrior consciousness is so conjuncted right now with Chiron and healing and so many aspects. So just drink this in. You are you and you are new. Nice deep breaths here. And now you can almost, there's like this awesome dragon energy of that tail and wings. But truly, each of you are earth angels. And you carry the light of the Christed, both feminine and masculine. And you carry the force and the kundalini of the dragon. We are in the year of the dragon. And there are so many stories and mythologies and elements that play out. And truly, as humanity, we are all of the best of all of it. We are a new species in the cosmic realm as well. And we have to embrace all that has made us dark and all that has made us light. And we couldn't do it without one force or the other. And so as you feel this energy, honor this energy within you, go ahead and just drop into your core and look for that diamond ray. It's in there. You've got a Merkaba in there. For some of you, depending on what you're working on, it may be in your mind's eye that you see it. For others, you may see it back in that hara, that womb center creation space, deep in your belly. Everyone's different depending on what phase in the process you're in. The key is just trusting and knowing that you are here, you are doing it, you are holding it. And it is crazy cool. It is so amazing to be here. All these star beings, I feel like, as you don't have to open your eyes, but as I'm opening my eyes, but also internally seeing all of you in this involution and this dimension that we've opened, I can see all of these Merkabas and Metatronic cubes igniting with that cosmic egg and this star seed of light and your tails and the energy and that nest, like it's all right here. And it feels like we're sitting in circle as a bunch of light beings, kind of like opening our eyes to this new dimensional reality. Feels good. Hello and welcome to this version of you. What do you get to do with it today? What do you get to become? How is it going to feed into your daily environment? Hold space for the miracles that it's calling in and feel yourself holding your masculine so much more powerfully. You guys are amazing, incredible. This is so exciting. And it feels big, right? It feels big inside of us, maybe a little wobbly because it's new. We get to take our first breaths and our first steps and our first conscious thoughts from this field. And most importantly, feel its roots deep, deep, deep in your soul. You guys are awesome with that. And like, way to show up and serve, right? Because just bringing this energy in is the service. Just you doing you is the service. So with that, namaste. So much love. I'll see you all tomorrow at 8:30.